saints of God, and welcome to Tuesday's Inspiration. Look, like the video, share it with somebody. Today, we got a lot to talk about today. We're still in hashtag relationship goals, and I want to give you signs of when it might be a good time to reevaluate your relationship status. Rarely do I outright just tell people to end their relationships. I like to trust that eventually we gain the perspective and energy necessary to make the decision that serves us best. But however, I have supported countless members over the years as their relationship seems to be unraveling, and some things in the relationship seems to just emerge again and again and again, and some things are just kind of like back to back. And if some of the things that I'm about to say to you is true for you, it might be worth reevaluating your relationship status. And number one thing is, you talk about the relationship improving in some hypothetical future. In other words, you're convinced that the relationship will be better, when. I know he'll appreciate me more when his friends get married. She'll be more supportive of my anxiety disorder when we get out of school. We'll enjoy each other's company more when we move in together. See, many believe their partners will change. For example, some folk think that they're going to become more committed. They're going to become more understanding or affectionate when they hit a milestone, or when they grow up, or some external stressor is reduced in their life. Now, this certainly does happen. It is true that it could, but it's not a guarantee. If you knew that they changed, would you still be in it for the long haul? See, you got to base your desire to be in your relationship on your present experience, not on some future idea of what you want it to become. Then secondly, you're losing, or you're feeling pressure to change in one or more areas, and it makes you feel less worthy as a result of it. It's one thing for your partner to ask you to stop putting so much garlic in the salad dressing, but it's a whole nother thing for them to start asking you to lose 20 pounds or to get a better job. See, you want to feel loved by your partner unconditionally. See, if they want you to change, it's likely a projection of their own insecurity. And you need to tell them to connect with their pastor or their counselor, or get them some help, but just keep letting you be you. And then you feel loved and supported when you're happy. See, many of us feel loved and supported in our relationships when we're feeling happy, confident, and comfortable. But what happens when we're having a low day? What happens when we've mega stressed out at work? What happens when we've been bedridden with the stomach flu, or when we are paralyzed by anxiety? What happens when we lose a loved one in our life, or we get laid off our job unexpectedly, or get a diagnosis that turns our world upside down? What happens? See, when we feel pressured to maintain a certain emotional equilibrium around our partners, we breed secondary emotions, things like guilt, shame, and anxiety for expressing anything other than happiness and calmness. See, inevitably, life is going to throw more things at you just than happiness and calmness in your life. So it's important to feel safe feelings around those, and then having those less comfortable emotions in the presence of your partner. And then another thing, you feel disrespected, unappreciated, frustrated, hurt, insignificant, lonely, and invaluable, ashamed or guilty on a regular basis in the relationship. And you rarely hear things like, "I'm sorry." And regular, sure, is a time frame for you to define. See, some people would say it's never okay to be made to feel these things in a relationship. But see, one thing that you got to understand is that we're all human, and we all say hurtful or unsupported things from time to time in our relationship. If your partner messes up and occasionally, and then they respond with remorse, that might not be a reason to call it quits. But however, if these things are common things and they just keep reoccurring, you need to tell him or her to hit the road. And then another thing that might want to cause you to reevaluate your relationship by asking your partner to hang out with your friends or your family. You feel like you're asking them to hand over all of their possessions and move to the arcade somewhere. Do you dread just telling them about your sister-in-law's dinner invitation? Does attending your best friend's birthday party go into hours of negotiations? Do you sometimes have your co-workers question whether or not you even have somebody in your life, or your significant other, whether that they even exist? Your better half doesn't have to love all of your family members or even your friends for that matter. But it's important that they're willing to embark upon significant other duties without going into all of the protests and all other arguments. And so you, of course, got to understand, you got to do the same thing in a relationship. Then here's another reason you might want to reevaluate. When you express a need that you can't help but feel crazy, needy and dramatic and high maintenance and unreasonable, then much of the time you find yourself apologizing for those things. Look, we all have our crazy moments. And we ought to respect the fact that our partners are going to have theirs also, and that we're all imperfect people, and jealousy can lead to creative ways of expressing ourselves. But if you've lost the ability to clearly see that your needs are warranted and deserving of airtime in your partner's life, your self-esteem and your self-respect is going to be the next thing that goes out the window. Another thing that causes you may want to reevaluate your relationship: you feel hidden by your partner. Has it been 7 months and you haven't even met their parents who live just down the road or in the same city? Has your partner never posted a photo of you on Instagram or Facebook, or invited you to the office party at work? Depending on the circumstances, keeping things quiet initially can add to the excitement. But there comes a point when being their little secret is more degrading than anything else in your life. You deserve to know your partner is proud of you and committed to the relationship. Look, you got to understand something. If they don't want you around their friends, obviously they trying to hide you from somebody else. Hey, look, my time's up. I'm Pastor Devin Jackson, pastor of the Body of Christ Church right here in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm telling you, #relationship goals is a good word, and you need to get it. You need to be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing your face in the place. And remember that the Body of Christ Church is a perfect church for those who aren't. God bless, and have a wonderful week.